But was he really trying to unseat the CM?
One of the very unresolved mysteries is the year 2012.
12, what is that?
We are talking about the midnight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think everybody in Odisha who were growing up at that time were aware of a midnight operation. And there were speculations around it. A lot of people speculated a lot of things, but nobody, I would say, bearing a few insiders. And you were one of the insiders. So my question is very straightforward, sir. How close was Sri Naveen Patnaik to losing his power that night?
Yes, a lot of MLAs had gathered in a particular hotel, and there were a lot of confabulations going on. Pyari Babu was certainly behind this. But was he really trying to unseat the CM? He later on said, no, I never wanted to. It was only a congregation of MLAs to point out to the CM that, he was going wrong, something or the other. It was not meant to unseat him. That's what Pyari Babu later on clarified. And many of the MLAs who were there also, they also said that no, we had no intention of throwing him out of power. But nobody really knows. It was touch and go in the sense that suppose they would have decided that they would change the president of the party or something of that sort, then in which way it would have gone, nobody knows what would have happened. But I personally feel that Pyari Babu could not have thought of removing Naveen Babu from his seat because everybody knows that Naveen Babu was a political leader and he had the backing of the masses. And no bureaucrat can take that place and really unseat him, because if he would do so, then in the elections he would lose because people will vote Naveen Babu back to power because he had that kind of a charisma at that point of time. So I don't think Pyari Babu was foolish enough to think that he can become the chief minister by removing Naveen Babu. I don't think so. He had some grievance which was political in nature, which I would not like to openly discuss because he's no more. But he was nursing a grievance, and probably that's why he was expressing some kind of a, should I say, anger by bringing all the MLAs together. Beyond that, I don't think he was planning a coup as it was made out to be.
So, how did this message come out that it's a coup?
No, because the kind of activity which was taking place, so many MLAs being called, hectic phone calls, the media all around, it was a drama. And since no clarification was made, had Pyari Babu told at that point of time that no, this is not meant to be a coup or something like that, then things would have been different. But no clarification came, so speculation was rife. So everybody thought it was going to be a coup, and Naveen Babu cut short his stay in London and came back. Then he took action against Pyari Babu. So that's all history.
No, you were the chief secretary at that point in time, and according to Grapevine, you were one of the saviors of the government.
I played my role as a bureaucrat should. I informed the CM, but I was not the only one who did. There are many others who had contacted him. So I told him that something is brewing and you better take care of it. But by then he was already informed by somebody or the other. And he came back. So my role at that point of time was to see that the administration is not rocked by this kind of turmoil. That's what I did.
And do you think post 2012, Naveen Patnaik was under the apprehension that something might happen, something of this nature might happen? So he changed his style of function. He made power centralized. He held his cards very close to his heart. And that's why there was no second line created in their political party, BJD. Did it change his function, style of functioning, trusting people?
Certainly it was a rude shock to him, no doubt about that. Because he trusted Pyari Babu fully. And to see that Pyari Babu could go even to this extent was definitely a shock to him. And I would say that probably he started trusting people less after that. He became more and more of a recluse. So he withdrew into a shell, which proved his undoing.
But then it took 12 years.
Yeah, but then I would say that the glory of his regime, I would say, that started diminishing after this particular incident.
As we all know that he's a man of very few words. So when you made the phone call to him, what is the first thing he said to you?
He said, I know.
So when you worked as a principal secretary to him, did you have lengthy conversations or it was just one-liners?
No, no. In office, we used to have a lot of conversation on various matters, not political, because political was being handled by Pyari Mohan, on administrative matters. And Naveen Babu has tremendous knowledge of history. He would give very, I would say, very insightful knowledge about what happens where. We used to discuss quite a few things. But when this happened, of course, a long distance call, so it could not have been chatting. But it was brief. And he came. I think next day he was here.
And his response was very swift and very brutal.
Yeah. Probably had no choice.
So, and in hindsight, again, when we're looking at was one of the architects of BJD, what would you say in one word? Was he a rebel, a tragic figure, or a truth teller?
No, he had many, many strengths. He was a great organizer. In fact, the party was built up by him, although it benefited from Naveen Babu's charisma. But it was the nuts and bolts were being handled by Pyari Mohan. So definitely he had a lot of contribution. Even today people acknowledge that without him probably the party would not have been as well-oiled a machine as it used to be in his time. But after him, I wouldn't say that it was that well organized.
So was he a rebel of sorts for Naveen Patnaik?
He exercised authority over the party. And Naveen Babu allowed him to do that. But I would say that, what was uppermost in his mind was to benefit Naveen Babu so that he continues as the chief minister. In fact, election after election, he was, people used to call him Chanakya.
Yes.
So he would very skillfully take the party through different elections.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Make sure to subscribe for more inspiring stories.